will be affect our real estate market in the future. The stamp duty will be increased from 4% to 8%. That will push the Malaysia property price go to another level because the government is going to impose. So this is the reason why Malaysia will keep push or keep attract more tourism in Malaysia. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today this video is about the Malaysia Budget 2026. On 10 October, our Prime Minister just announced the budget for next year. And there's a lot of things inside this budget, but I will not go through all one by one. I will only focusing on the few matters that will be directly or indirectly affect our property price in the future. But before I go deep into this Malaysia Budget 2026, I have to let you know all the budget we set every year actually is for our Malaysia long-term plan. It is the same. For next year is the first years of our 13 Malaysia plan. So for those who don't know about the Malaysia plan, I can explain to you every 5 years, the Malaysia will set a long-term target, the long-term goal for 5 years to achieve. And then every year, the Malaysia plan is like an action plan to help Malaysia to achieve that goal. Before I go into deep about Malaysia Budget 26, what matter that will be affect our property price, I will have to let you know the 13 Malaysia plan, because for those investors overseas who like to invest in Malaysia, I think you would like to know about what's the future in Malaysia. So what's the country future plan? So when you want to invest in Malaysia, either invest in business, invest in property, you need to align with our Malaysia government goal. So for this 13 Malaysia plan, actually it's not only emphasis on economic growth, but also on environmental sustainability, governance and social inclusion. So it will guide Malaysia through challenge, including transitioning to a new economy model, strengthening supply chain resilience, and managing resource wisely. The ultimate goal is a sustainable and prosperous Malaysia, uplifting every segment of society. So in this 13 Malaysia plan, actually there's a few key targets and projections. So I will only point out a few important for you guys. So first is about the GDP growth. So the Malaysia government set a target 4.5% to 5.5% per annum. So which is I think is achievable, because from past few years, our GDP growth is about 5.1% in average. So I think this is in reasonable target. So Malaysia also want to attract more private investment into our country. So it's target the private investment growth about 6% every year per annum. And the top growth area, they will focus in on manufacturing and services. And for those who like to stay in Malaysia, you also don't need to worry about the inflation in Malaysia, because the government try to control it in between 2% to 3% per annum. So an unemployment rate goes down to 3%. And the median monthly wages we set to increase another 1,000 from 2,600 to 3,500. And the fiscal deficit to GDP, we want try to reduce below 3%. So, and there's a very interesting target or key target in this 13 Malaysia plan. So because this 13 Malaysia plan is not only concerned on economic growth, it's also concerned about the environment. So the government said there's one important key to measure, which is the carbon intensity to GDP. So want to have 45% reduction for the installed renewable energy mix, want to increase 35% by 2030. And there's a 10 key takeaway in this area, and I will only focus on a few I think is important. Other than to have a steady growth in the GDP 4.5% to 5.5%, the government will also develop an AI-driven ecosystem through the National AI Action Plan 2030 to drive talent development, research and technology commercialization to support AI adoption. So in other words, for those who like you are AI expert or IT expert. So I think Malaysia is quite welcome you. And we are also trying to prioritizing digitalization. We aim to achieve a 98% 5G coverage across the population, industrial and rural area. So plan to digitalize the public service by rolling out My Digital ID and offering 95% of federal public service online. So to reduce the administration cost and the time to process. And the semiconductor lead. So government target 1 trillion in electrical and electronics E&E products export by 2030. So driven by the national semiconductor strategy to attract multinational corporation. So we are also trying to increase our skill in the research and development. There's another thing is about the expansion of transport in infrastructure. So there will be a continued effort to enhance the transportation infrastructure. This is about to increase more like the LRT in the Penang, the MRT3 in Kuala Lumpur, and the RGS and some transportation line in the JB. This will smoother the traffic in those city area and also reduce the living cost of the people who living in this city, because you can take the train, you can take the transport, and you don't need to drive the car to increase your daily cost. And the other thing is for the goods transportation, for they will expand the port terminal, highway, and they will do a real project. So meaning currently in Malaysia, all the goods is still mainly sending by the big trucks. So in future, they want to build a rail on those that frequent road. So in future, you don't need to send all the goods, the big goods by the truck. You can use the railway system. For the business, you can save out your cost. In other words, for the environment, you less using the truck, you less using the petrol. This will save our environment. Okay, there is some important matter or important points about the 30 Malaysia plan. So I already mentioned just now. So this is what my opinion about that, because this new government, this is the first Malaysia plan that they come out. This is a new government. It doesn't like previous government that do a lot of infrastructure or construction or the big project, or we call it mega project, to boost the country GDP. Their main focus a few things like from the past few years. So I can say there's a very good things after this government they take over, the new party they take over. We can see a very good effect from which is our economic, our Malaysian net deficit. So it's from 2020. 2020 is due to the COVID. So actually the deficit is reached in between 5.8% and 6.2%. As the government increases spending on to combat the pandemic economy impact. But after that, 2021, so it's 6.4% to 6.5%. It's continuous give the COVID-19 relief spending. So 2022, you can see that deficit already decreased to 5.5%, and 2023 reduced to 5%. And 2024, you can see from the last year, the figure is already at now 4.1%. And this year, 2025, the projected is try to reduce to below 4%, which is 3.8%. So in 13 Malaysia plan, by 2030, they want try to reduce below 3%. So they are doing in this few way. So first is for revenue enhancement, like the SST expansion, improve the tax compliance, enhance the enforcement, meanings for the anti-corruption things. And the next one is expenditure rationalization, because in Malaysia we have a lot of incentive or a lot of subsidy. So from after this government, they rule the governance, so they try to give the subsidy is like targeted subsidy. The meaning the subsidy is give to the poor people, or is more targeted. So optimizing the spending, control the expenses. And I can see this new government is come with a very good government planning, budget planning, or long-term planning. So for those who like to invest in Malaysia, no matter you invest in business or property, I think Malaysia environment is getting better and better. So once you got a good government, we got a lot of resources here. So I believe the economy in Malaysia will be getting better and better. And now we come to the Malaysia Budget 2026. So just now I already explained about our Malaysia long-term planning. So you can see this government, we got a very good planning or long-term goal. And the other things based on their past record, how they control the deficit, Malaysia deficit from 5 point something, 6 point something, reduced to 3.8. So I think Malaysia is going better and better because we have a very good resources, and now we have a good control, and there's a good government here. And now we talk about for the financial budget 2026. So there's a lot of things inside this financial budget that are come from this our long-term goal, the 13 Malaysia plan. So, but there are a few things that I think will be heavily affect our real estate market or Malaysia property price. So, especially foreigner or local, everyone who want to invest in Malaysia or buy house in Malaysia. So, the first thing is about the stamp duty. So, the stamp duty, who will get affected? There are two kind of person will be affected. First is the foreigner. The second will be the first home buyer. And the second matter is we foresee the construction cost will be likely to goes up, to trend up. And the third one is those who invest in Airbnb or you have a hotel business in Malaysia. There's a good news for you because Malaysia in this budget 26 is going for a tourism push. So I will also explain we talk about something about the tourism market, the Airbnb market for the real estate. Okay, we start from the first point is about the stamp duty. So stamp duty, there are two categories of people will be affected. The first one is the non-residents, meaning we call it foreigner. Either you are individual or you are company, you'll be get affected start from next year, 2026. So the stamp duty will be increased. Originally is 4%, and after next year will be 8%, double up. So for the non-resident, either you are individual or you are company to buy the property in Malaysia, you will get affected. But I think this is a good thing because the government want to try to cool down the property market because they will suspect property price will increase a lot in the coming future, and mainly is driven by foreigner market. So because there's a few things, because investment is coming, I think there is also the reason is the government rerun or reactivate the MM2H last year, because according to the Minister of Tourism, Art and Culture, they say from last year they received 3,019 applicants for MM2H, just about the 9 months, since the third injection of Malaysian MM2H. So until the report date is about the June this year, there's around 1,300 applicants has received the MM2H application being already approved, and still 57% still waiting for the result. So for those who don't know about AM2H, there is a new rules in current AM2H is for those applicants, you need to buy the house or buy a property in Malaysia. There are 4 categories, like we have a silver category, gold, platinum, and a special economy. So out of these category, the minimum is 600,000. Like if you apply for silver category, you are paying 600,000 minimum. This is a minimum. You are gold applicants, you need to purchase 1 million, and if you are platinum, you have to purchase purchase for 2 million property price in Malaysia. And if you are special economic zone, so you have to follow the minimum price set in that area. So different project got different price. So meaning the government already predict the property demand for foreigner will be increased drastically in the upcoming future. So therefore, they are trying to cool down the demand by impose the non-resident stamp duty increase from 4% to 8%. For those who already buy the property, you don't need to worry about. So if you buy the already buy subsale, meaning secondary market, I believe you already do the MOT. For those just buy a new launching, I think you don't need to worry about is because the budget will be come out every year. So meaning there's every year will have a chance to change. So and this currently this stamp duty has not confirmed yet because they still need to debate in the parliament again about the is it any adjustment or is it any exemption. So but what I see from this impose or from these things is because I see the government is worried about the property price in Malaysia will goes up very fast and our local is not able to buy it. So they try to use this cooling measure. Like example, our neighbor country, Singapore, increased from 30% to 60% due to there's a strong demand from foreigner. Impose is good, meaning the property market in Malaysia is hot. And for the next stamp duty, I want to talk about is for local, especially for the first home buyer. So there is the government extended the stamp duty exemption for the property price below 500,000. It's extended to year 2027, and government is giving the 20 billion house credit guarantee to the entry level demand. So what does it mean? It means government will waive the transfer of stamp duty for the first time Malaysian buyer for the home price up to 500,000. So this will be directly reduce the upfront cash needed. Meaning if you are first home buyer, if you buy the property price below 500,000 and meets a requirement, you don't need to pay the MOT, the stamp duty. So the stamp duty maybe is if 10,000, 20,000 depends on the property price you buy. For those first home buyer, this is to help the first home buyer to get a dream house, the first house. You save the MOT, and this money you can dump it into the market. So it's either you keep it for the renovation or you dump in more down payment to reduce your money installment. So this will help you to less burden on your commitment to buy a house in Malaysia. For the 20 billion housing credit guarantee, is the government they can help some borderline or some borrower that's high risk borrower or with irregular income documentation. The government already ready the 20 billion quota to help you to guarantee. So meaning this will also help those the borderline loan applicants easy to get their loan with the government guarantee. And then the next is a very important, I think this is a big chance if you know this earlier, is the next year onward, I think the property price will be slowly go up. So especially is on the new launching. Is for the subsale will be slower a bit. Yeah, but will be affected by the new launches lah. Because example, if the new project next door, same spec, same service, everything is selling at 1.5 and you're still selling 1 million. So of course the secondary market will slowly pick up to 1.5. I think it's a great chance for investor. You have to know, because the material, the construction cost of buildings will be going to increase, because the next year the carbon tax is going to impose in Malaysia. Okay, what is the purpose of carbon tax? So the carbon tax is a government put a price on the carbon emission for the end user, for the producer to pay for the environmental cost. So it's back to our 13 Malaysia plan. So our 13 Malaysia plan is not only focused on the economic growth, we also focus on the environment. So that's why this carbon tax is one of the new things that will impose because we want to hit our 13 Malaysia plan. As per the budget 2026, the carbon tax will be starting with iron, steel, and the energy sector, and in line with the National Carbon Market Policy and the fourth upcoming climate change bill. So meaning for those who like you, when we build a house, we need to use the iron, use the steel, and we also there's an energy consumption. So by cement, soil, we will consume the energy, some energy that will damage our environment. So the government will charge you a tax, that what is called carbon tax. So meaning if the producer, like the material producer, is being charged at a carbon tax, when they produce the material, they need to pay the tax. Meaning this is also one of their costs, and they will take the cost and turn it to the end user. They will charge to the developer or the main contractor, and the main contractor will be also impose some additional costs or expenses to the developer. So end up the developer have to sell you more expensive. So because as the building cost is heavily tied with the carbon intensive input and energy, when those tax producer, they will pass down the cost to downstream as what I say. So even for the, just now I say the cement, concrete, glass, aluminium, even it's not in the first wave, but there's a energy intensive good indirect increase the cost of produce. Yeah. So what does this mean? So meaning this will affect the new project price. This is the first wave who will get affected. So because the developer, when they want to launch the new project, they will consider in this carbon tax because they have to pay the tax, and they consider then charge you the selling price is higher price. And for the next one is the tourism push. Will also push some property price in Malaysia. That one is indirectly because I can say next year is a Visit Malaysia year 2026. So in line with Malaysia year 2026, government has unveiled a suite of tax incentive aimed to boost the tourism market by enhance Malaysia appeal as a premier travel destination. So if you are already the investor for Airbnb or some hotel business or hotel suites in Malaysia, this is a good news for you because from next year onward, our government will try to push more to attract more tourism come to Malaysia to make our Malaysia appeal as a premier travel destination. There are a few things they come in this Malaysia Budget 2026. The first one is for the renovation and refurbishment tax deduction. This is for those that occur if in next year. Actually, it starts from this year October. If you have any expenses that enhance like the domestic tourism product, like you repaint the wall, and then you can get a tax deduction up to 500,000. And the next one is the tour operator tax exemption. This is for the tour operator that can successfully attract at least 1,000 foreigner tourism annually. So you can get 100% tax exemption on incremental income derived from inbound tourism package. And the third one will be international event organizer tax exemption. So if you are organizer, those will attract the foreigner come to our country. You can get a 100% income tax exemption on statutory income, and then expanded. Next one is an expanded tax exemption for cultural activity. So the existing 50% tax exemption on statutory income for company organizing art, culture, sport, and recreational activity is expanded to tourism activity now. So it's already approved. And then also for the individual tax relief. So we have a 1,000 tax relief if we travel in within Malaysia. So these are the main three things I think is important for you to know about the Malaysia Budget 2026 that will be affect our real estate market in the future. So I do a summary. The first one is the stamp duty. It's either for the foreigner investor, M2H applicant, or the business or the company. The stamp duty will be increased from 4% to 8%. But I think this is a sign of the Malaysia property market is getting hot in the future because the government try to push down, to lower down the demand for the foreigner to buy the house in Malaysia, because it's a lot of, in these few months, there's a lot of people from other country who want to invest in Malaysia or want to do the M2H in Malaysia. I think for those investors, this is a chance so you can enter earlier, because the second thing that will push the Malaysia property price go to another level, because the government is going to impose the carbon tax. So the actual calculation is haven't come out like how they charge, but that's confirmed. There's a costing. There is some costing about the carbon emission will charge to the producer. The producer will charge it to the main contractor and end up charge to the developer, and the developer will add this in your purchase price. I can see this is the first wave. The first target will be the new launching, but for the next one will be secondary market, because the secondary market, as I say, if you see the new house next to you have a same spec, same service, already charged 1.5 million. Are you going to sell 1 million? I think no. You will confirm will be increase your price to sell on premium 1.5 million. Although you are not paying the carbon tax, but for the owner, you want to pay tax. But there is a good things you also can check out is if currently you buy the projects that is already completed, but the developers still have balance unit. So if you buy now, there's also very good chance. And for the third one is about those who invest in those Airbnb market or short-term rental. Because I foresee the Airbnb, the short-term rental is another group of people, another group of demand will fit the Malaysia property. So because we can see our government is heavily want to intro Malaysia to all over the world, so to attract more people come to travel Malaysia. If you like Malaysia, after you travel Malaysia, you can stay here. Or if you feel that there's a lot of business opportunity in Malaysia, you come in, invest here. So this is the reason why Malaysia will keep push or keep attract more tourism in Malaysia. So if you want to invest in property, I think there's a very good if you also see the short-term rental, or we call it Airbnb type of property. So this is all the content about the topic, the video today. So if you want to know more about any new launching in Malaysia, or know about any property knowledge or the economy knowledge in Malaysia, remember to subscribe my channel, because I will keep on share more and more videos. So remember to like, subscribe, and share it to your friend. And I will see you in the next video.